Welcome to the Watch Society. Welcome to the weekly Watch News Roundup. The most popular story this week was probably watch spotting at the Super Bowl, and that's a common thing this time of year with the Oscars and Grammys and Super Bowl, all these big events. Celebrities are coming out and wearing the watches they represent or showing off the money, or a few are actually big watch fans that come out with something interesting. I'm not going to go over what everyone wore. There's plenty of articles you can find for that. The one thing that everyone was talking about was Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady lost IWC in the divorce. He also sold through most of his watch collection at auction, including his piece unique Tom Brady Audemars Piguet. I don't know who bought that, but I must have been a really wealthy Tom Brady fan. Sure, good on you. Hope you're happy with it, whoever that is. But Tom Brady came out with this giant monstrosity from Jacob & Co., this canary yellow tourbillon that cost like $600,000 to $700,000. And most people were just wondering what Tom Brady was wearing because you couldn't escape it. I don't think anyone was wondering what he was wearing because they actually liked the watch. It was a pretty universal opinion that is not the best way to spend $600,000 to $700,000 on a watch, but hey, money doesn't buy taste. Moving on to something that's a little bit more fun if you have the money for it, Bulgarian MB&F came out with a new watch. It's a horological machine from MB&F, so it's funky, and it's supposed to look like a serpent's head. It's their version of a serpente type watch. It's hard to see the snake head in there. You can kind of see it, but ignoring that, that's just a cool looking watch. And it reminds me a lot of the horological machine number 10 Bulldog from MB&F. They're making 33 in each different metal of titanium, steel, and gold, 140 to 170,000. It's a fun watch. It's something straight out of Max Booster and Friends that represents horological weirdness, stretching what a watch is to its extreme. And I applaud that, because if you're going to spend a lot of money on a watch, at least be different. Don't be Tom Brady. Now, moving on to watch news not about new watches coming out, Tag Heuer, which last year took over the sponsorship of Formula One, will now also be the title sponsor for the Formula One Grand Prix of Monaco. It's the first time there's been a title sponsor for the race. And a lot of other races have their title sponsor, a Ramco or this or that, or the Grand Prix Parmigiani, whatever long name that they use in Italy. It's a very long race name. So there's lots of different title sponsors for the race, but it's really just great to see Tag Heuer going full hog back in the Formula One, because their history is Formula One. They did the timing on cars. They did the timing on the tracks. If you were early in Formula One and you were timing a car, you had a Tag Heuer split-second chronograph in your hand timing laps. It's where they grew up, is racing. Heuer is honestly an organic relationship with racing that no other brand has. There's Omega that tried to do a Speedmaster. Instead, it went to the moon. There's Rolex that's like, we have the Daytona, named after the Daytona race. That was a consolation prize because they didn't get to go to the moon. Rolex isn't really a racing brand. They're never really felt right. Heuer is the brand that has been in Formula One since the beginning, been in racing since the beginning of watches in racing. In fact, they're one of the first sponsors at all on a car. So seeing Tag Heuer back as the timing sponsor of Formula One, and now in the crown jewel, some would argue crown jewel of the race calendar, the Monaco Grand Prix being the title sponsor, it just feels right. I'm glad to see them back. I'm excited to see what they keep coming out with, because I'm sure we're going to see so many Formula One related Tag Heuers this year. And let's see what they do. It'll be fun. Now, in less fun watch news, Carl F. Bucherer, the watch brand, is being discontinued by Rolex after they bought the retailer in 2023. It became the third brand for them, and I guess they didn't see where to put it or how to deal with the brand, so it's been killed off. And why that's sad is because Bucherer has been making watches since 1919, which is the same year Rolex moved to Switzerland. To to be around in Switzerland making watches as long as Rolex has, it feels a shame to watch Rolex just kill them. It could have been something. It could have been like the 1 or 2,000 Hamilton Longines equivalent for Rolex, or it could have been a pure dress watch brand, because let's be honest, the 1905 and Rolex in general, their watches used for dress watches have never been successful because their watches are so thought of as sports watches that the dress watch line of Rolex never really feels right. So maybe they could have done the Carl F. Bucherer dress watches or something, but it wasn't in the cards. Rolex is keeping with their only 2 brands of Tudor and Rolex, and they killed off a brand that's been in Switzerland as long as they have. And the Carl F. Bucherer name, in fact, is older by a few decades than Rolex. So to see them take over a storied brand that's been family owned and producing watches for over 100 years be thrown by the wayside is really sad, unfortunate, especially in this day and age where we see brands growing. It's a shame. Rolex has the money, they have the marketing, they have the ability to do something with it, but instead it's been killed off. So good job, Rolex. Laco is a German brand that's known for their pilot's watches, and they're a great watch at a more approachable price point of $500 to $1,500 usually. And they've been around a long time. They make very classic Flieger watches. And before, they've made a 42 millimeter in their polar white watches. But this week, they released 2 39 millimeter polar white watches. They're called the Augsburg and the Achan. And I know I'm destroying those names because my German is worse than my French. But what is important, these are 2 very classic Flieger-style watches going back to the original styles of World War II. And they're only $540 each. They're powered by a Miyota Series 8 movement, so it's a very appropriate movement for that cost. And it's a great way to get into a pilot's watch that's just not the classic black you see, because everybody has that. And it's fun to see the polar, the white difference. It stands out a little bit, and yeah, IWC's done it, obviously, and a few others, but I think it's really fun every time somebody comes out with it. And usually these pilot's watches are 42 plus millimeters, but 39 is a much better size for a wider audience. Yes, I can wear 42, I'm a big guy, but 39 will fit majority of people a lot better than that. So I appreciate that there's both options. And if you're looking for a pilot's watch, this is a great way to get into it without breaking the bank. Revolution Watch and Zenith came out with a new limited edition watch this week. It's a carbon composite cased A3818, or known as the CoverGirl Zenith, because that model was the cover of a book by Manfred Rossler. And it's a great nickname called the CoverGirl, but when I hear Revolution Watch CoverGirl, I think of suddenly it's, Cosmopolitan magazine with somebody on there as the new CoverGirl, and instead it's Waco's face on top of the model. It's just one of those intrusive thoughts. Going back to the watch, 3818 is an easy to wear case. It's like 37, 38 millimeters, very vintage feel, but looks good on just about any wrist. The carbon composite is definitely a look. It's that black and the white mixed together when creating this composite is unique, and the dial on it matches the case. So it looks really good if you like that style. I'm not completely sold on it, but I know others who love it. So if you like it, great. I'm glad this got made. I do think the dial going with the case is a cool look. It's about $12,300 on a Velcro strap. But if you want a full carbon composite ladder bracelet, that's also available, though the price goes up to $27,200. But of course, they're only making 10 of those. So if you do like it, that's going to be a very, very rare strap to ever get. There's 150 of the Velcro ones, so that's the more common one and a much more approachable price point, even though, yes, there is a premium for that carbon composite. But if you'd like it, and if you like that lightweight but tough feel that comes with it, this is definitely a good looking watch. If you don't like carbon composite, then it won't speak to you. That's all right. Not every watch is for everybody. The watch we talked about most this week in the Watch Society chat was probably the new Grand Seiko SBGH 368, otherwise known as the Sakura Kakushi, which is hidden cherry blossom, is an effective way of translating that. It has a new type of dial on it that doesn't have the Shosho's more pinkish cherry blossom. It's more of a coppery style dial. Maybe made the look at like the tree before the blossoms come out. Either way, it's a beautiful dial. It's a gold case, 38 millimeters. It's in the old 62GS style case, so it's a very classic Grand Seiko and has their 9S high beat movement in it. Overall, good looking watch. Beautiful gold watch with this dial that fits the gold better than that pink Shosho cherry blossom dial. So the overall thought was, this is a nice looking watch, and it's got the typical 9S movement in it, which is a nice high beat movement from Grand Seiko. And then we all saw the price, $31,200. What the why do you think that you could sell that watch, or why would you buy that watch for $31,200? Yes, it's a gold Grand Seiko. It looks good, but it's got a typical 9S movement in it. There's nothing special about the movement. And for $10,000 less, you can have yourself a Vacheron Constantin manual wound patrimony with a Geneva seal on it and has solid gold case also. Or for $10,000 less, you get a Langenzonen Saxonia thinned. Similar gold, similar size. For the used market, you can get yourself a Vacheron Historique 1921. Hell, Omega just came out with a watch that was $20,000 and had Grand Few enamel on it. Why would you spend $30,000 on a gold watch with a basic Grand Seiko movement in it? What the hell are they thinking? What the like, sometimes pricing gets absolutely insane. And also the Japanese yen isn't even strong against the dollar, so it isn't even like a Swiss conversion thing. It should actually be cheaper coming from Japan. I have nothing. I have no reason why I think that this should be this price. And it's not a limited edition. So good job, Grand Seiko, on making a non-limited edition. But then you priced it so high that I just don't understand why anyone would buy it. Why would you spend that money on it? And I'm sure some people are like, well, I can get it 30% off retail. Congratulations. You're still spending the same amount you could have gone a Langenzonen or a Vacheron for. That's similar size, also in gold, and a hell of a lot better finished. Yes, Grand Seiko makes beautifully finished watches when you compare them to Rolex and Omega, not when you compare them to a Langenzonen. Doesn't happen. No Grand Seiko matches up with a Langenzonen. They don't match up with Vacherons. It's okay. They're in a different league and a different price point. But when you start beating their price point, as a limited edition, I guess you could sell a few to real fanboys that have money. But as a production run, I got nothing. I like Grand Seiko. I own a few, and I will continuously say they are great watches, but this one just, I got nothing. Why? Please tell me in the comments. Why do you think that this should be a $31,200 watch? All right, I'm done. Thank you for joining us in this week's Watch News Roundup. If there's any watches that you have opinions about that we talked about today or any news that we should cover, let us know in the comments, and have a good weekend.